Dear students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am Manzur Ahmad Ganai, lecturer history. Our today's topic for 12th class students of history subject is what do you know about the central administration of Mughals? Dear students, there are two aspects of administration of Mughals. One is central administration, another is provincial administration. Today we are discussing about the central administration of Mughals. Dear students, we know that Mughals had established a very vast province, a very vast empire, and with the purpose to run the administrative affairs of this vast empire effectively, Mughals had established a broad-based central administrative structure. The administrative structure of the central administrative structure of Mughals uh, can be discussed as under. Number one, the king or the emperor. The emperor was at the topmost position in the Mughal empire. He had unlimited powers. He was a supreme military commander. All the army was under him and obeyed his commands. He was the chief judge. His every word was law. He formulated all the policies of the state. He appointed all high officials of the kingdom. The Mughal emperor had many special prerogatives, namely to sit on the throne, to impose death penalty, to issue coins in his name, to grant titles, to put his seal on royal documents, to declare war, peace, etc. So means every power was in the hands of the emperor. Nothing could be done without the direction or the consent of the emperor in the Mughal empire. So in the pyramid of the power, in the pyramid of the Mughal administration, the king was at it, or the emperor was at the topmost position, who had no match among all in the Mughal empire. Number two, Wazir. Wazir was the second important authority in the central administration after king, after emperor. He was a prime minister of the empire. He used to advise the king on all important matters. He informed the emperor about all events happening in the state. He implemented king's orders in the kingdom. He supervised the departments of various ministries and ministers. The description and account of the works of all departments came to him, and he was kept safely in his department. He worked as a link between the king and all other high officials of the kingdom. Number three is Diwan Ala or Diwan. Diwan was the finance minister of the central administration, finance minister of the kingdom. He kept a record of income and expenditure of the kingdom, and without his signature, no one could take out money from the treasury. He also made rules regarding collection of taxes or revenues. He compensated the farmers in case the crops were damaged. He gave out the grants and sections for various programs, money grants and other things. So we mean to say that the office of Diwan was one of the important offices, as he was in charge of he was financial minister or finance minister of the state, or the because this finances was an important source on which the whole edifice of the Mughal empire was standing upon. Therefore, the post of Diwan was also important, and it is sometimes believed that the Wazir was occupying the post of Diwan as well. But sometimes during the time of, it is believed during the time of Akbar, the Wazir's post was different, it was separate. But after Akbar, this post was abolished, and Diwan used to occupy the post of Wazir as well, as of the Prime Minister as well. Number four, Mir Bakshi. Mir Bakshi was the head of the military department. He was responsible for maintaining discipline in the army. He distributed salary to all soldiers and non-military officials. All bills regarding salaries were passed by him. He kept a record of the names, appointments, and salaries of all mansabdars. The employment, promotion, and transfer of all in the military department were done at the behest of the Mir Bakshi. He also supervised the work of the Bakshis or the military commanders in different provinces as well. Next, Sadr Sudur. Sadr Sudur was the head of the religious affairs in the kingdom. He looked after the religious institutions, peers, fakirs, and made arrangements for various religious festivals as well. He requested for cash donations or revenue exempted land called Madad-e-Maash to be given to the people who were religious people. He was the chief religious advisor of the emperor. He supervised the works of provincial sadras. There were sadras in provinces who were the religious heads in these provinces, and the overall head of all the provincial sadras was this Sadr Sadur. Number 6 is Qaziul Qazat. Qaziul Qazat was the head of Justice Department. His main function was to give justice to the people, and he was the head of provincial Qazis as well. Number 7 is Khani Saman. Khani Saman was the head of the king's royal household. He arranged everything for the king and his royal family. Also, he made the arrangements or the needs which were to be fulfilled at the palace of the king. Everything related to the diet, related to the security, related to the different affairs of the royal household of the king. All these matters were seen and were the responsibility of Khan Saman. Thank you. Number 8, Darogai Dhak Choki. Darogai Dhak Choki. Darogai Dhak Choki was the head of the intelligence department. His duty was to collect all informations from the different parts of the empire and from other provinces and from different provinces, and keep the king informed, emperor informed about all kinds of happenings, secret or open happenings in different parts of the empire. Thank you.